Welcome to the What's So Smart podcast, powered by the Huntsville Madison County Chamber of Commerce. I'm your host, Clark Dunn. Huntsville, Alabama is known as a smart place, but really, what's so smart about it? In this podcast, we will talk to the leaders of Huntsville's economic and cultural development to answer that question. From rockets to genomics, from cyber to music, What's So Smart will explore the visionary and data-driven initiatives that make Huntsville so smart. Stay connected with us on all your social media platforms at A Smart Place. You can watch the full conversations on our YouTube channel at Huntsville, Alabama, USA, and be sure to subscribe wherever you listen. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope you enjoy this episode of the What's So Smart podcast. Welcome to the What's So Smart podcast. I'm your host, Clark Dunn. Today, I have the opportunity to sit down with Caitlin Lyon and Michelle Novosel of Pizel's Confections to learn a little bit about what makes Huntsville so smart. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, so I know that neither one of y'all are from Huntsville originally, but you call Huntsville home. Talk a little bit about where you're originally from and kind of what would initially bring you to the Huntsville area.
Well, we're from Pennsylvania. We both grew up in Pennsylvania. Yeah. We're sisters.
Right.
If you couldn't tell, I just realized we were sitting in an exact mirror of each other. Yes, we are related.
Yes. And we sound exactly the same when we're talking.
And I won't make you guess who's older.
No.
It's me. And we moved here when I was in high school and she was in elementary school. We grew up in Pennsylvania before that. So,
But so Huntsville's been home for you for a while.
Over 35 years.
Okay.
So yeah.
I pretty much say that I'm from here.
You're originally,
like even I was in third grade.
Yeah.
So,
you're a Huntsville native.
Yeah.
You're in Huntsville. You've seen Huntsville grow and blossom to what it is
Oh
today,
my gosh,
and you've been a part of it. So how did you get into confection making and like and the chocolate making? I know that like on the website, you said you've always wanted to own your own chocolate factory.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about kind of what was y'all's first introduction into that.
I mean, it was probably Gene Wilder's
right. It was probably Willy Wonka. Like I mean, growing up, I just wore out tapes of Willy Wonka. I mean, like just wore. That's all I cared about. That's all I wanted to watch. I had like a little candy business where I would like sell candy out of my lunchbox. Like I was like, I was in it.
It was Jolly Ranchers, wasn't it?
Yeah, I
was
was so committed when I was younger. And so, but like growing up, I didn't know that was a thing that you could do. I didn't know that was even like, like that people had candy shops, chocolate shops. I didn't. So, after, trying to figure out what I was going to do in life, it just kind of fell back into our laps. I was like, I think we could make a go of this. So we talked about opening up a chocolate shop dessert cafe for many years, like 7 years before we actually even did it. And we had worked together like a lot, many times before we opened this. So we knew that we could do it together, and not kill each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was just kind of like, a childhood dream that, we decided to really take a stab at.
Yeah.
And she went to culinary school in Nashville, and then was it the same year, Killian?
Mm-hmm.
Your son was born. Was it that same year?
Yeah.
And then she started at the École Chocolat School out of Vancouver, which has a big online curriculum, which sounds like, how do you learn that online? Yeah. But they're very, very good at it. And
it's an international school, and now I'm a teacher at that school.
Oh, wow.
So I teach a masterclass design, color and design masterclass from that school. So yeah, we did that. And
so we didn't just open a chocolate
right. Yeah, there was a lot of, went to culinary school, went to chocolate school, lots of like, R&D, lots of, trial and error.
Lots of eating.
Chocolate.
I mean, you have to sample it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
lots of traveling to figure out, what was possible, like what the new things were, what people were doing, what we liked.
Ordering chocolate online.
Exactly, all sorts of things. So,
it was terrible.
Right.
So, I mean, like, you go to school for this, you diving into this. When was what was the first year y'all opened Pizel's, and what was the sort of the response from the community at that time?
It was March 2013, March 16th.
So we have been here for 11 years now.
Wow.
So
doesn't seem possible,
right? But the community just embraced it. We had no idea. Like when we first opened, it was just Caitlin and I, and
I still had a day job. I worked full time.
Yeah, I was a new mother, so I was like
That's still working full time, but
I know, but I didn't have to go to an office, like I could, so yeah, and it was just me, and I was like, well, it's gonna be like a hobby, like a, at Low Mills, like an art studio. Okay, I'm just gonna make some chocolate, and then during, the week, maybe people will come and get a few pieces and see what I'm up to.
Yeah.
And that just didn't work out for us. Like it was a line out the door the first day that we were open. It was great, and it really hasn't stopped.
It hasn't slowed down a whole lot. We hired our first employee the second week we were open, and we thought we were gonna not hire an employee for like a year.
Yeah, because Caitlin was coming in on the weekends to do like dishes or after work and that kind of stuff, and I was just gonna hang out there, and we just. And then our employee that we hired, she was with us for 9 years.
Wow.
So we, and now we have 9 employees.
I think 9.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
sounds right.
yeah. So yeah, we have. It just was. I guess Huntsville really wanted something kind of, fun, and like we're not just a regular chocolate shop. I feel like we're an experience.
For sure.
We're a place where you come to to make memories or stir up old memories. So it's I think it's really was a special place, and we didn't realize that that's what Huntsville really wanted.
Yeah, I mean, and for those that maybe don't know exactly kind of what confections are and kind of what that art of that is, because it's a unique thing, and it's a smart process to make that from the idea to actually making it to what people can actually enjoy.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people, I think we just melt chocolate and pour it into a mold.
Right.
That is not. It's a 3-day process.
Right.
Wow.
There is so much science. I mean, chocolate is all about science. So when because you have to temper chocolate, which is aligning the cocoa butter crystals in the chocolate. And that is a process of, the temperature and agitation. All of these things are, all science related when it comes to chocolate making, or even pastry, when, how leavening and, meringue, and, how you get a cake to leaven. Like, I mean, there's all of these things that are all science related, that I think people kind of, take for granted. Like, well, how does this even work? But when chocolate is in temper, which we have, this is process of having to do this, and not just, you have this process when you're decorating, when you're shelling, when you're dipping, all of these things. And it's, it's a long, it's raising and raising the temperature again of chocolate to make sure, like, tempered chocolate has a shine, it has a snap, all of that stuff. So we want it to be, as exquisite as humanly possible. So we want to do it right, so. And
then you have to factor things in, like the beautiful Alabama heat and humidity into the process. So
sure.
Some days things don't work quite the way you want them to.
And I mean,
I hear a lot of frustration in the kitchen about mid-August. Everybody's like, grr, why?
Yeah.
I mean, chocolate is amazing, and I mean, there's so much involved, artistry, science, all of that kind of stuff, but it is the most frustrating thing.
Yeah.
Also, so sometimes you just have to walk away.
It's science and art.
Exactly. Yeah, and it just kind of has a mind of its own.
Yeah, and so I mean, the Huntsville community has obviously embraced you over the years. 11 years of operation here in Huntsville, and you're in the process of moving to a new facility. Talk a little bit about kind of what this move is looking like for Pizzell's, and what this experience could be for those listening or watching that want to go and grab some chocolate.
So we're moving from Low Mill to the Campus 805 in the Student Union building between Fringe Salon and X Golf.
Okay.
And I mean, we're really excited about the move. We're going to be able to be open more days and longer hours, and the space is a little bit smaller, but we have a bigger patio right out our door.
Yeah.
So it'll be a little bit of a downsize, but we'll be able to have more, more time with the customers. Open for coffee in the morning, open for cocktails at night. So
okay. Cocktails and chocolate.
We've already started that process.
Yeah,
so it takes a little bit, but so we're marching along.
Definitely,
so
that'll be a new thing. Yeah. So
we had always talked about wanting a dessert cafe where there might, what reason is there for people to leave the restaurant they're at and come and see us for dessert? And that just hasn't ever happened yet.
Yeah.
And we think this new location maybe will be a better location for that, and we'll be able to be open later because in that area
everything happens in the evenings anyway.
Right? Yeah. Especially in our nice long summer. Yeah. Nice. But we do have a really long outdoor season here.
Right, right. And there's so much going on at Campus 805. Oh, yeah. I mean, Yellowhammer is just we love Yellowhammer. I mean, everyone over there, we kind of they're all either we went to high school with or we grew up with, that kind of stuff. So a lot of the business owners it already kind of feels like home over there.
Yeah. So from y'all's perspective, being a small business owner here in Huntsville, what makes Huntsville such a smart place from y'all's perspective, within the small business realm, or maybe even beyond that realm as well?
I mean, I can say that particularly during the pandemic, which I know people kind of don't know, but let's forget that ever happened. But I have some friends who were in Florida also owning a small business, and we would talk during that 2020 year. And they were so frustrated because they were getting no help from their community and no help from their chamber. And I'm not just plugging the Chamber of Commerce because we're sitting in the Chamber of Commerce right now. But it wasn't just the Chamber of Commerce. It was the Chamber. It was the Small Business Development Center at UAH. It was Downtown Huntsville, Inc. It was everybody in the business community during 2020 were having Zooms and all the resources that we were being given and told about and all the information as small business owners. I just really, as a small business owner, felt very supported during a time where nobody knew what to do. Yeah. Especially for those of us in retail and hospitality. We got hit really, really hard, as everyone knows, the whole industry. It was very difficult. And to just, from talking to my friends in Florida, I know that's just one data point, but it's they were like, wow, your chamber's doing what? You have a what there? What's, and they ended up closing their business.
But we have it's not just, and I think it's also the business to business, not just the bigger entities, but the business to business. I mean, everyone supports each other, not just through the pandemic, but through the last, since we've been in business. I mean, the amount of small businesses, because it is still a small town, so everyone knows each other, and everyone works really, really well together. There's no, there's not this competition. Oh, you can't do this, or, this is my secret recipe, or this kind of stuff. Everyone, really bands together to create this wonderful community. And I don't know if that, where else that exists. I'm sure it does in other places, but we are so thankful to have that here. To where we can just call a small business, or we can go visit them, and everyone just works together, collaborates together.
And if they don't have the resource you're looking for, they probably know someone who has the resource you're looking for.
Yeah. And I think, like you said, even though Huntsville's growing so much and so it's getting so big, I mean, there's so much things that are happening. It's still a tight knit community, especially in the small business realm. And I think there's been so many different initiatives over the last few years that have really started to connect those small businesses together, like the trails they have and all the stuff like that, that allows you to say, hey, even though this business is in the same industry as me, for them to succeed ultimately helps me succeed.
Exactly.
And vice versa. So you've been able to call Huntsville home for the last, it's your home. You're a Huntsville native. What's some of your favorite things about living here in Huntsville?
I think like we talked about how close how tight knit this community is. That's one of my favorite things. Yeah. Where it always feels like home no matter where you go, even if it's in a new place or new restaurant or new business or anything like that. Just the welcoming nature, our friends and family. I mean, it's gorgeous here. I don't know. I mean, people that aren't from Alabama, they come here to visit and they're like, wow. Yeah. I mean,
this is not what I expected.
No, and so I just love, I think it's just the welcoming nature and, and not just, just the outdoors also is one of my favorite things.
It's so pretty here. Yeah. And when we moved here, we were still minors, and our parents drug us all over the place, and so we went to the beach, I think that first summer maybe, and I was like, what? Alabama has a beach? I didn't know that, but it's only, a lot of those things are very close. Huntsville's close to Nashville and Birmingham and Atlanta and the beach. And this was a long time ago, maybe 25 years ago. But when I lived up on Montesano Mountain with roommates in 2 separate houses, I never owned a key to the house. Because we never locked the door. And now I wouldn't do that now.
Right.
Yeah.
But 25 years ago, no one even gave me a key to the house because I never needed it. And I don't think there's a lot of, places that you can do that.
Oh yeah.
And yet if you want to go have a big city weekend, it's 2 hours away. And
now you can have a big city weekend almost right in
you
your backyard
with Orion and everything.
I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
Like it's
incredible. Like I think there's moments that now that I see like events being posted that I'm like, oh, like I don't want to drive far away for that. And you're like, wait. That's in my backyard. Like, that's down the street. Like, I don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah. Now there's too much going on. Like I can't pick what I want to do.
I can only do one this weekend. Oh,
right.
So obviously, with 11 years owning a small business here in Huntsville, you've probably had some unique experiences. Is there a one unique experience of living here in Huntsville or owning Pizzelles that you think about now?
I mean, I think there's one that, we always kind of, we talk a little bit about, but I love the fact that Huntsville has such diversity when it comes to just different events going on. We went to what was it? It was like rockets in the park or whatever.
That's
there
right.
was like and the Pride Parade was also going on.
We went to the Pride Parade.
Yeah, and so,
then we walked down the big steps downtown to where the first little fountain is, and then you go down to the spring. So we were at the Pride Parade, and then we walked down the steps, and it was
like NASA.
It was NASA in the park, and we're like, this is very, very Huntsville now.
Yeah, it was a very Huntsville experience,
Yeah.
and I absolutely love that. To where there's a little bit of everything for everybody, and it could be going on at the same time. And I just, love that, where art and science really come together. I think that was a really fun, event, to go to. And I hope that, Huntsville does more things like that. That was really great.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, thank you for spending the last little bit talking a little bit about your journey with Pizzelles and kind of your experiences here in Huntsville. We'll have all the information about Pizzelles in the episode notes. If anyone wants to find out more information, they can visit that. But thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
So
it was fun.
Thank
you.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the What's So Smart podcast. Stay connected with us on all your social media platforms at A Smart Place. You can watch the full conversations on our YouTube channel at Huntsville, Alabama, USA, and be sure to subscribe wherever you listen. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope you enjoyed hearing more about what makes Huntsville so smart.